Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Professors of Profit Vlogcast. I'm your host, Dr. F Scott Feil, and I have with us a very special guest today, Dr. Matt Danzigers. Matt, you're actually a special episode because this is something that we're going to talk about today that actually wasn't even around when I first started this podcast. I have a list of approximately 100 side gigs and side hustles that healthcare providers can take a look at and kind of decide if some of them might seem right for them. And that's called the Professors of Profit, the PT Educators Revenue Idea Generator. And that can be found at pteducator.com/100. And every episode, every week, we try to get somebody to come on that talks about one of those 100 side gigs or side hustles that they've taken on as a healthcare provider. But today we're going to talk a little bit about NFTs. And, for those of you who have no idea what an NFT is, that's okay. I'm in the same boat with you guys. I'm learning. That's why I'm reaching out to somebody like Matt. Matt, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're up to these days, and then we'll get into a little bit of the NFT world.
Sure. So I'm an outpatient physical therapist, see mostly orthopedic cases. Professionally, about 25% of my caseload is about fibromyalgia cases and things of that nature. But I'll see whatever I'm interested. I like people. So that's the fun part. And I'm 6.5 years out of graduating. I'm a career changer. So I used to have a windshield advertising business prior to this in San Diego, best place on the planet. So I guess I recently got into the Web3 crypto NFT space. I'm not one of these people who is like super into it in like 2015, and I've got like, $40 billion or whatever. But it's a very exciting sort of thing.
Yeah, I would agree. San Diego, beautiful spot. I know a lot of good therapists out there these days. Ben Fung is out there. If anybody listens to Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income podcast, he's out there, I know. But yeah, San Diego can't beat the weather, right? Pretty constant stay of beautiful weather all day, every day. So, but yeah, let's start talking about this. NFTs. Tell us a little bit about what they are. Let's start with the definition.
Sure. So I guess if you have no idea what it is, if the good way to think about it is just a collectible. That's kind of how it's used mostly. So that the token part, the NFT, the T is the token. So if we go definitionally, non fungible means unique and not replaceable. So like a penny can be replaced by a penny and it's still a penny, but Babe Ruth baseball card can't be replaced by, Johnny Smith baseball card, and it's not the same. So that's kind of the idea. Like the token is unique. That's sort of like the simple idea. Different than another crypto token. So one Bitcoin could be replaced with one Bitcoin. They're the same. So your NFTs are not the same. I guess maybe that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a really good basic definition that gets me a little bit of understanding here. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing out there in NFT world. Like, what are some of the options out there? I mean, obviously there's myriad options, but what are some neat ideas and things that you've seen out there in the NFT world? So
there's the most popular one, at least if you're on Twitter, like a lot of PTs used to be back in the day. I know Instagram's kind of winning a little bit, but is a profile picture is the category. So PFP category NFTs would be stuff like Crypto Dad, which is what I have. The Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Crypto Punks are probably the top two, right? Everybody knows Bored Ape Yacht Club because Jimmy Fallon has one and all, et cetera. So you would replace that, and that would be your digital identity versus your picture of you, like, in your profile pic. So that's a category. Another category is like gaming. So gaming tokens. So for anybody who does gaming, let's say you play in Minecraft, right? The gaming NFT token would be like you own your Minecraft character or your Fortnite character. And that's sort of like the new exciting thing, although there's a big split in the gaming world for that. Traditional gamers are not into it. majority, and then sort of like there's a new sect that is. Then you have straight art pieces. So what previously an artist would have to go to sell it at a booth or not a career fair, just a art fair or art show, you can buy their art and they have just digitized it. And now you own the digital ownership of that art piece, which you can do what you want. You can resell it or print it or do whatever you want. I'm not sure. There's others. There's generative pieces. There's ones that like develop with age. People are talking about making for example, like a real estate contract, an NFT. So in other words, instead of us sitting down with a lawyer and paying them a bunch of money and a real estate agent, you would just buy the NFT that represented my home mortgage. And guess what? Now you're the owner. Good job. And you skipped all the steps, and it's, written to the blockchain. We can describe what that means, but basically it's just, there's proof of ownership there. So there's people exploring those ideas. That's not totally out, but I think what you and I are probably talking about, I assume, are you looking at getting a PFP NFT, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, I think so. So the Secret Society of Whales is one that I've been following. I found one that I like that really embodies me and who I am, and it's affordable. I think it's about 0.04 Ethereum right now, I think it is, which is approximately, I think it was like $150 maybe, or something like that.
There you go.
But we can dive into all that stuff in a minute here, but let's talk a little bit about blockchain technology. On the HET podcast, the other podcast that I run, we interviewed a gentleman who was the CEO and creator of MediChain. And his kind of thought process behind it was that blockchain needs to be used in medical records and hospital billing and stuff like that, right? So in theory, this actually sounds brilliant. I'm not exactly sure if this is how they're planning to use it, but think about if we were born with a medical record on the blockchain and it just followed us throughout our entire life, right? Yeah. Now we don't have to keep filling out forms every time we go to the doctor's office. It's there, it follows us. The doc can see all of our touch points within the healthcare field. They don't have to ask us all these questions. They can just look, it's all right there chronologically. They can sort it out by keywords or whatever they have to do. Again, I don't know that the technology is there yet, but blockchain is essentially the technology in which NFTs are built off of, right?
Correct. Yeah. So anybody that's watched that podcast, I didn't see it, or vlogcast, that sounds amazing. So the general idea to even make that like privacy compliant is you would keep that blockchain record of your history, like forever. In your wallet, right? So you would have a wallet too. So your wallet has your keys to it. So you'd have the protection of the blockchain one for proof. You would just connect your wallet to your physician's office wallet port or whatever, and boom, now they have it. You could maybe toggle on switches. Maybe they don't have to know everything. Maybe they don't need to know your date of birth. They just need to know your age range. Like, hey, I'm 30-ish. You don't need to know that I'm exactly 32 in this day. So it's very, very promising.
Yeah, I mean, I just like the idea of not having to fill out the same damn forms every time I go to the doctor. I mean, that gets nauseating at times.
Yeah, blockchain, we have the same conversations. Yeah.
Exactly. So blockchain in general is the big, I guess, technological pro to it is that it's trackable, right? We can kind of track interactions and sales and all these things that happen on the blockchain. It's, you can keep tabs on it, so to speak, and see where it's going.
Yep. Digital ledger. Yep.
And I like that too, because it can be, like you said, privacy. You can put up your privacy and just have a long string of numbers, and that be the blockchain account, so to speak. Doesn't have a name or anything attached to it. It's just your personal number.
Correct.
Right. So, essentially that's part of the reason that these NFTs are non-transferable or non-fungible, so to speak, right? It's their own little digital copy of that thing, and it's got a blockchain number, so to speak, the way I understand it. And it is what it is. It's there and it exists and you own it.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So the fun part is like, you and I could screenshot it, right? But then that's not ownership. You can do what you want with the screenshot, but what really people are talking about is like the ownership of the digital item, which is written to the blockchain. Other computers could verify it. I can look, you can look on my Etherscan for my wallet and see what I own and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's that digital proof of ownership. And that's turned into, I think the reason it's gotten hot is because it's a digital flex.
Yeah.
So I can wear my, like, what's popular around me is like, surf wear, like, Billabong or something. I can flex that I'm into that scene. Digitally now with your wallet and your NFTs, you can kind of flex what you own. You're a baller or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So that brings up another pretty cool point is this is really digital real estate, right? And not to get too deep. Not to get too deep into the Web3 thing, but like people are starting to buy digital real estate NFTs in the metaverse.
Oh, very hot. Yeah.
And to go back to your gaming point, there's games that you can play kind of like Farmville, where you buy a plot of land, you grow it up, and you can make money from the game.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. The possibilities
what a time
are
to be
endless.
alive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, fantastic.
So another one I just saw recently, I was poking around on Twitter and it's fun to kind of see who's doing what and see some of the giveaways and stuff like that. And obviously, a lot of the giveaways are fake and they're garbage, but it's still fun to think that maybe I'll win that golden ticket,
Yeah.
But I saw one the other day that was music NFTs, right? So there were artists that were performing their music, and instead of releasing it to, say, iTunes, they sell the song or the album or something like that, NFT version wise. And so you can own the rights and the master to that song for, 30 Ethereum or whatever it is, right? Which would be, 120,000 or something like that,
Right.
Which is cool. The artist gets paid right off the bat. The other kind of cool little thing to this is, let's say you come up with an NFT and you create an NFT line, right? And you mint them. Every time that NFT gets sold, you get a portion of that. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, and they're set up, and you can see that it's all, of course, open and non-hidden. Everything's disclosed. Yeah. So I believe a lot of projects will take so. If you use OpenSea, which is probably the most popular marketplaces to buy, they take about 2.5% per transaction. And then a lot of projects, depending on what they do, will take like another 2.5 or 5%. So you kind of want to know that, right? What you're buying when you sell it, how much will go to the project. So that it does keep the project running. Right? You want to keep going to a project that continues to go. So if the project has lofty goals, like they want to create something or they want to buy a sports team or something like that, your royalties, quote unquote, that you're going to pay to the owner of the NFT are probably be higher when you sell it. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about how we get started in this. What do we have to do if we want to purchase NFTs? Tell my audience a little bit about your journey and how you went about it and what got you into it and how you started.
Sure. So I'll tell you what I did. And then I guess, we'll see, not financial advice, do your own research. Do we have to put that in there somewhere?
Yeah. Typical Twitter talk.
That's right. So fellow physical therapist, Dr. Spencer Miro got me into crypto in general. He's got me into Bitcoin, showed me how to set up a Coinbase wallet. So basically I exchanged my hard-earned American cash for Bitcoin, and then I bought Ethereum, and I did that for maybe 6 months, just learning hey, I'm putting my money and it's turning into crypto and seeing it go up and down and that sort of thing. So just the traditional, buy on Coinbase type thing. How did I get into NFTs? Basically, I started researching Web3, and somehow someone was talking about decentralized social media. So right now, Twitter could cancel you, or YouTube could remove the video. Someone was talking about decentralized social media, where instead of a like, you might get 0.001 penny, and this sort of idea, right? So I rabbit holed all the way down into NFTs off that idea. And then very quickly, I thought, this is pretty fun. I started following some people on Twitter, and by then I was familiar with some of the words, some of the slang. I love the slang. That's like really why I got into it. I just want to like yell all this stuff. It's super fun. Caps lock, and then just start typing. I love it. So anyway, so then I found NFTs, and I didn't know what to look for at all. Like I didn't know how to research. I got caught up in hype. Like people are saying, "Oh, this is great. This is great." And so that's ended up. I got a good project, luckily, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I do have some recommendations. One, I would stick with. I guess I would stick with Ethereum. What you need to do to set that up. We want to go into
let's do it. Mm-hmm.
Sure. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to buy Ethereum, and an easy way to do that is to go onto Coinbase, and you can purchase it off a marketplace. Right now it's on sale, so it's pretty low. You get a pretty good price. Like some people, it's like I think below $3,500 or something like that.
Buy the dip, people. Buy the dip.
Buy the dip. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So same advice applies here. It's on sale. So you buy Ethereum, and then the most popular wallet, so I'm going to use the term wallet for your digital currency, is MetaMask. Mm-hmm. Do not type the word MetaMask on Twitter, or the scammers will come after you. So just search it up on your private browser or whatever. So MetaMask has a app, or you can use desktop extension. And you'll have to sort of probably look it up, but you just send your Ethereum from your Coinbase account or whatever you're buying from to your MetaMask wallet. That's pretty easy to do. You hit send. It's pretty fun. Ooh, it shows up over there. Neat, right? From there, now you have a wallet and you have an address. Your address is going to be a gobbledygook number of, however long. And that's basically what you need. Now you're ready to go on the websites and start buying NFTs, basically. That's your first step. So if it takes you a while to get that far, pause the video now and come back or whatever.
And I've had to do that. When I first started out, I had to do that. Pause, rewind, make sure I got all the steps. It's definitely not very simple. It's not cut and dry yet. I think they're working on that, and it will get easier. But for now, a lot of those stop blocks are actually helpful from a privacy and safety standpoint. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. It's not as smooth as what we call Web 2, which is extremely user friendly. But it's so user friendly because they want all your stuff. They want your info and everything. Yeah. No watching of videos is going to tell you how to do that. You got to do it. I read and did article deep dive, and then didn't know how to do it until I actually did it. So that's kind of like a lot of things in life. That's why we go on clinicals, right? Yeah. For me, so here's another skill you need: Discord. If that word's new to you, you probably want to get on and figure that out. Telegram is something that I haven't done, but that's also popular. These are basically other chat sites and things of that nature. Discord is number one. So it started out as a gaming chat platform for the gamers out there. They already know it. I sound like an idiot talking about it, but Discord, learn how to use it, and pretty much all the projects are on there. It'll be hard to go through how to pick a project, but
well, I'll touch on that for just a minute. Obviously there's a ton of NFT projects out there right now. Definitely, like Matt said, do your own research for sure. But at the end of the day, obviously, you'd like to pick a project that's going to go up in value over time, because it is kind of like an investment, right? But I was talking to Matt before we started here, and by the time this episode airs, which will probably be next week, I'll have my first 2 NFTs, and the only reason I'm purchasing them, they're from 2 separate projects. Both of them have different roadmaps, which a roadmap to me is kind of like a pitch deck on what their plan is, and when they hit certain levels, that's when they're going to release things and do things, whatever. They have both very different roadmaps, but at the end of the day, I just like the picture. It's a little JPEG and I own it and I like it. So I'm just purchasing them strictly out of, this is how I'm going to get my feet wet. This is 2 projects I like. And I just like the picture. So that'll be my profile pic and my digital flex, right? But at the end of the day, if you do a little bit deeper dive, there is a couple of good projects out there where the community is what drives the project, I think, you know, and I think community is a huge portion of NFT world, if you will. And there's some communities are very good, very supportive, very helpful, and you know, funny, and you know, people want to get to know each other, and then they use the Discord for that. Whereas other projects are less community based and they're really kind of money driven. And yeah, that could be a good thing too, but you just never know. So again, you got to do your own research and decide what's right for you. You know, at the end of the day.
The money ones, people are quick to come in. They're also quick to leave when the money's down. The community ones will stick around for the ups and downs. And, you know, I know y'all talk about, like, guess what investing is, ups and downs, you know. And we had a bear market here in NFTs in November, which was rough. You know, each day just hurts, you know, and you're looking at your investments every day. That's the one problem, right? So this isn't just, usually you're kind of looking at it like more on, you know, you're a little more involved. So you're watching this. So it does help, community does help on down days, right? Who cares on good days? Everybody's your best friend. But the community does matter on down days. Yeah, I'd agree. Look in the Discord, which is the chat, and you can see, are people like having fun, or are they being just weird or yelling, or is it good convos? Does it seem like people you'd meet? I've met so many people through the Crypto Dads community that, I mean, a lot of people do all sorts of things, you know, construction worker, everything else, but a lot of people in the Web3 space, developers, people are going to start their own projects. So a few other projects that have launched have been started by people in that community. So you start to like rub shoulders with people who are doing stuff, and then you just meet regular people who are, you know, regular people and fun to talk to, have the same interests as you or whatever. It's pretty nice.
And I actually took a free course that the Crypto Dads put together, and that's how I kind of learned my baseline stuff. They had a free NFT course that just kind of showed you the basics, and that's what kind of got me interested in the first place. So definitely looking into the Crypto Dads space at some point in the near future as well. One of the side notes that I will say, one tip that I can give, again, I'm still brand new to this, you know, I'm learning from you as we go, but one of the things that I would say is avoid the Discord DMs. Seems like a lot of scammers try to get you in the Discord DMs there. So stay away from those. Everybody, you know, and Instagram too. I've gotten a bunch of messages on Instagram about their next NFT or whatever. I just kind of disregard those because I'm not interested. But keep there. I mean, this is, you know, as good of it is of a time to be alive and to be able to do all this stuff and be involved with it and play around. It's also a really good time for scammers, an opportunity to come in a negative way. So you got to protect yourself. You got to be careful. Make sure you do your research on that. So.
Yeah, no trust. I mean, you especially when everyone's behind a profile pic, you don't know, you don't know anything, you know. You sound like a little bit like your grandma, like, you don't know who you're talking to online or whatever. But like, yeah, it's true. You have no idea. This person seems cool, and they're like, hey man, here's a link to an awesome project, like buy in. No, you just paid him money, like for nothing or whatever. So yeah, we definitely talk about the scamming part. You can do a lot of episodes on all the different parts of this kind of world. The ups are up and the downs are down, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Matt, what are some, I would say, like key tips or tricks that you've learned in the NFT world, you know, for a newbie like me who's just getting started? What's a tip or a trick you can give to my audience to kind of let them know a little bit of the insider world?
Yeah, so we're all here making like the similar leap to like, all right, I want to turn like a little bit of money into a little bit more. Most people that I know of aren't dropping like, you know, 40 grand on these things, you know. You're saving up and putting in $500 and seeing what can happen, right? So you do want to make some money. So let's talk about that. One, you want to look for something called a mint. So you want to mint the project. If you mint the project, you get in at the cheapest rate. It's unless the project tanks and goes down. That's pretty much the lowest you're going to get in. Okay. So that means you create the NFT, you write it to the blockchain. How do you pick a project to mint? This is going to be the super short version. You want to look for a lot of people wanting it. So let's say there's only, 5,000 NFTs. You want to see that 50,000 people want it, or, more than 5,000 and more than 10, right? So that if it's 10, then 2 people want it for one. That, that's not a very enticing buy in general. And you want to see that it's not like fake followers, robots. You kind of got to get a feel for that in seeing how they interact, right? So like a Twitter account that has 20,000 followers, but no likes on their latest post, right? Like, what's that about, right? So you have to kind of do the normal sort of assessment, right? But let's say it looks good. Let's say they're releasing 5,000 NFTs. You like the art. The roadmap says that they're going to give to charity or something along these lines, something you're into. And the mint cost is going to be something in your wheelhouse. You're like, cool, man, I've got $500. I actually have about 700 in Ethereum. Let's go. That's what I would do. I would stick with mints. You're going to get in cheap. The demand of having more people wanting that NFT will, in theory, make it more valuable as it goes up, because you'll hold it and they won't, and they want it. And so that price will go up in theory. The other object is to look at what you're doing, like an established project, like Society of Whales has been around for probably like 4 months or something like that, which in NFT world is like 4 years,
right?
For sure. So that's an established project with a good plan. They have like a really neat idea there, right? Like, so they all kind of like vote on who they're going to invest in and that sort of thing, which is kind of cool. So that's another thing. So I know this project is not going to be what's called a rug, where you get the rug pulled underneath you and it's just, they take your money and run. This project is established, been around for months. And luckily for you, for whatever reason, like their price is like at a nice entry point, right? Everyone would like the coolest one, but the coolest one costs 150 grand to get into or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, you pick that established, the established one is the other way to go. And you just look for the price to dip, you buy in and off you go. When you mint a project, going back to minting, you'll do it off the website. Usually that's through the Discord or Twitter. You can get there. And then you'll follow the instructions. I would definitely spend a week looking at like what all the words are, but you would mint, you'd connect your MetaMask wallet. You'd pay the money. There's something called gas fees. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but there's something called gas fees, which are like the cost that the computing power cost that it takes to write the ownership to the blockchain. Those computing fees can be like pretty high. It can be like $150 or it can be like $20. My recommendation there is like for East Coasters, like if you're an East Coast person, set an alarm at like 3 a.m. in the morning and try to do it then. Gas is pretty low, like when most people in the world are asleep. So you try to like figure that out.
It's a great tip.
Save yourself like, $200 there. And if you're going to buy secondary, OpenSea just happens to be the most popular one, right? So you'll go to OpenSea.io and then search for the project, make sure you have the correct one because there's scam projects there too. Yep. And they make it pretty easy. You just click on the one you want, you hit buy, it'll ask you to connect your wallet, you'll agree, and then you pay from there. And don't worry if the thing doesn't show up in your wallet right away. We get into the details, but it should show up in your OpenSea account. And there is also something called Etherscan, which will show the transaction. And sometimes it can take a little while to show up in your wallet. Because that was nerve-wracking. First time I bought, man, I was like, where is it? 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 And then, it was there eventually, but it took like 20 minutes or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to remain calm, stay patient.
Yeah.
Have faith, right?
That's right. Yeah. There's tons of more things. Like if people want to flip, there's certain things to look for flips, which is like major hype and things like that. But it's more fun to be in a project that will kind of last for a while. In my opinion, like money's fun. I love money, but to be in the space, it's fun to pick one that's going to go for a while. I think Society of Whales, they've been around
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been slowly learning over the last couple months. I just, hadn't felt comfortable pulling the trigger yet. I wanted to do my research, and all the research kind of led me back to like what you said. You just got to get in the weeds and do it.
Mhm.
So if that was the case, there were 3 or 4 on my list, and Society OLs just happened to be the first one, just because like I said, I found a picture that I really liked.
There you go.
It kind of represented me and my MO, and so I'm just going for it,
Yeah.
and we'll go from there. But like I said, I'll probably have my second one over the weekend as well. We'll have to see how things shake out. But I'm looking at Diamond Dawgs as well. I like them because I'm a big baseball fan. So
there you go. Yeah, Mendez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the St. Louis Cardinals players started an NFT, so I'm into that as well. But we'll see. Crypto Dads is also on the list. I think that's probably third on my list. And then fourth, I want to look for a wild card, just something random.
Yeah. Once you get in, though, here come the random. You'll get sucked in.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on here and sharing your knowledge on this stuff, and giving some tips and tricks, and really just educating my audience on all things NFT. Because, like I said, this wasn't even around 2 years ago when I kind of started the podcast. So this is a new opportunity, especially from an investing standpoint. I was very vanilla when it came to investing. I was like Apple, Google, Facebook. That was pretty much it. I just kept throwing money toward those 3. Eventually, I figured I'll be fine. But nowadays, it's definitely looking like real estate's becoming more popular for me. It's definitely looking like cryptocurrency is becoming more popular, and then NFTs. So there's so much more out there, and I think at the very least, I think we need to bring awareness to it and realize that, hey, we can be in healthcare and do all the stuff we do to help people. But if we can also make money on investing in some of these things, that frees up some more of our time to do what we want and, treat people who we want, when we want, how we want. It gives us that time freedom back. So, I really appreciate you coming on and at least bringing awareness to the fact that this stuff does exist. And if you want more help, it's out there. So where can people reach out to you and find you if they have more questions or want to follow up with you about this stuff?
Sure. So on Twitter is the best. So at Matt, MATT, and then DNCGRS. So at Matt, and then Danzigers, it's shortened up, no vowels. That's the best place. Probably I'm on there all the time. Happy to DM, or you can hit me out in public and then we can DM or whatever. Any question or something I said backwards or whatever didn't make sense, happy to chat it out. It's super fun to get into.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on and chat about this stuff. So I'll put those links in the show notes so people can reach out to you and find you easily. But yeah, man, thanks so much. And I can't wait to talk to you again in a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll see you out there. Yeah, let's check in.
All right, we'll do, man.
Awesome. Cheers.